Hello and welcome to my first ever Brawl Stars video. Today we're going to look at 10 tips to turn you into the world's #1 Piper. So, let's brawl. Hi guys, I'm Brawl Boy, and welcome to 10 tips to become #1 Piper. For those of you who don't know me already, my in-game name is ShadowJutsu. I'm a Nova Esports Elder and part of the top 100. I wanted to jump on the Brawl Stars scene because since the May update, the game has been feeling amazing, and the competitive scene has been opening up so much. So I wanted to give you guys some high-level gameplay and strategy, so that you can join the top players. If you haven't noticed already, I have a huge chunk of hair missing from my head, and it actually has to do with the May update that landed just a couple weeks ago. So, like everyone else, I had a bunch of boxes saved up, and once the update finally came, I started opening and I got Penny. But once I finished, I didn't have Frank. Everyone else had Frank. I was so jealous. Days go by, I still don't have Frank. Everyone's using him, I still don't have him. But then he shows up in the shop, and I'm like, I need to buy Frank. How can I save money somewhere else so I can get him? Well, I need a haircut. So I'll get my friend Twirl to give me a haircut for free. Long story short, he messed up. Don't trust your friends. So what I actually ended up doing was saving my hair for moments like this. So now I'm able to take the hair and just fill in the wonderful patch that he shaved off. Perfect! With the current event rotation, Bounty isn't around as often anymore, and that's where Piper does best. So you need to make sure you can win as many games as possible if you want to become #1 Piper. I've had that spot a few times in the past now, and she's definitely my favorite brawler in the game, so I wanted to dedicate my first ever video to her. So, let's go. Tip #1 is be defensive. Piper can do this so well because she has the greatest range of any brawler. You know that if you can't reach an enemy, they can't reach it either. Taking the time to heal up after getting hit is more important than trying to get that kill. A common example, since Piper is a very popular choice in Bounty, is after getting hit once by an enemy Piper, just fall back to a safe place until you heal up so you can't be sniped in one more shot. Tip #2 is use your presence. This concept of presence will be coming up a lot in this Piper guide, and it was actually highlighted to me by Twirl because he came up with it. So the simplest way to think of presence is, who are you most scared of? Usually it's a Piper because she can deal the most damage to you. So you want to use Piper's ultimate presence in as many ways as possible. Her presence can be used to create angles of opportunity, forcing opponents into areas that your teammates can get to. By moving in a way that forces your opponent to move somewhere else to be safe from you, you can push them towards a teammate while they focus on you. Tip #3 is one of my favorites. Anticipate where your opponent wants to go. As I explained before, Piper has the greatest presence of any brawler because she can kill other common picks for Bounty, such as Brock, Dynamite, Ricochet, Colt, and Piper, in 2 shots. As soon as your opponent is hit by one of your shots, they know they're at risk because you had the proper angle to hit them. Their next goal will likely be to put a wall between themselves and the threat, which is you. If you can land your first hit when they don't have enough time to make it to that safe place before you can land your second hit, you can predict that's where they want to go and position yourself properly to land the finishing hit. Tip #4, move around the map. Take those heels off and get your running shoes on. Positioning is so important in Bounty. Both teams are trying to pounce on opportunities to get the kill. By continuing to hang out in the same area the whole time, your opponent has time to find a position to counter you, or to create a mental plan to sneak up on you. Since most Bounty maps have many different open areas, Piper can do well in many different places. So being fluent and just kind of going where the wind takes you is so good for keeping your movements unpredictable. Tip number 5 is vertical movement. So vertical movement is incredibly important in Bounty. Piper's current range reaches almost to the edge of the screen when aiming straight ahead. If you back up to the point where you can't see any of your opponents, which means they can't see you either, and then prepare yourself to shoot in a place that you suspect an enemy might be as you move forward, you can often at least land one hit on them before they have the time to notice you're suddenly in range, aim, and shoot. Since you're the one doing the vertical movement, you are able to prepare for that shot before your opponent even knows you're there. Tip number 6 is make your movement a mystery. So this part of movement is super important for maps like Terracotta Square, Outlaw Camp, and Snake Prairie, where short-range brawlers are more common and are trying to sneak up on you. Shooting into grass to check for these enemies can work sometimes, but it's much easier if you just don't get close enough to a potentially dangerous position in the first place. Short-range brawlers waiting in grass to ambush someone like Piper really depend on body language to determine the best time to strike. If you haven't seen an enemy like Bull, Daryl, Shelly, or Tara for a while, keep an eye out for places they could be hiding and just stay away from those places. Make your movements random so your opponent doesn't know where you're about to go. Other things you can do in these situations are staying close to at least one ally that can help you, and either loading up your super all the way, or at least getting close enough that 1 or 2 quick hits will give you that surprise getaway. Tip number 7, don't try too hard to use her star power, but still use it. Don't limit yourself to staying in the grass. That extra 400 damage won't typically come into play when it comes to getting a kill. However, there will be cases where a section with a wall and grass will be destroyed, often by you as you shape the map to your advantage, which I'll explain more later, but then later on in the match, that grass will grow back. If you're in the lead, this is a great place to hide as you let your opponent come to you. This grass will be in a nice open spot, allowing you to hit your opponent for that extra damage before they can even check your hiding place. Tip number 8 is recognize your opponent's skill level. This one is super important for high-level gameplay. As the match goes on, you'll be able to see how your opponents behave and how good they are at dodging. Some people walk in straight lines, some go back and forth, and some move randomly. Once you figure out their tendencies, this will tell you where you need to aim. For some, you'll aim in the direction they're going, and for others, you'll aim in the opposite direction, assuming that they'll turn around and walk straight into your bullet. This works against skilled players that are good at dodging, because since you typically need to aim in the direction they're going, as you're figuring out their skill at the beginning of the match, they'll be dodging most of your shots. But that's when you recognize their skill and get the kill. Tip number 9, use her super to shape the map. More specifically, your opponent's side or places where throwers can hide from you. This strategy works great in Bounty because it creates more openings for you as Piper and less openings for your opponent as any other brawler. Having another wall breaker such as Brock or Dynamite in your team composition will also help you as a Piper, helping you to shape the map even faster. Also make sure you keep the compositions of both teams in mind when doing this. You might want to destroy a few less walls if you have a Dynamite on your team, or if the other team has multiple long-range shooters. Here's an example where the enemy team had a Dynamite and 2 Pipers. Dynamite was problematic at the beginning of the match, so I blew up most of his cover, but made sure to leave some of it so that my team could hide from the Pipers if they pushed us back later on in the match. And finally, tip number 10, do a little twirl at the start of each match. Trust me, it gives you good luck, shows your teammates that you're super cool, and Piper looks fabulous doing it. And there you have it. Those are 10 tips to become the world's #1 Piper. If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, please give me a like and subscribe for more content like this in the future. My next video will be showcasing some Brawl Ball gameplay, and I'll be using a brawler that's received 2 recent buffs. Shoutouts go out to Portal, Illustria, Kairos Time, Craudiu, and all the others that played with me in this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing day. This is Brawl Boy signing off, and I'll see you next time.